to work with. There's no doubt in my mind he can be top 12 or higher. That's bottom of the basement to me, barring catastrophic injury, like we always say. But if that defense is much improved, like we all think it is, that means there's going to be more turnovers or more three and outs, which does what? It puts Aaron Rodgers in an offense. So even if the offense is struggling, if he gets, like, that's the thing about
more repetition,
2010, right? 2010, that people forget that offense was not pretty that year, but they did what that year? They led the league in turnovers. And so Aaron, even in games where they were having to punt 2-3 times in a row, well, they were getting 3-4 extra possessions per game, or an extra 2 or 3 and outs, which gave him a shorter field, and so therefore by just sheer volume, they ended up having, better offensive, but he hasn't had that recently. So he's actually had to do more with less opportunities, and yet he's still up there with all the statistics, which is another reason why I think numbers can lie to you. Like he's doing, these other quarterbacks are getting extra opportunities. Aaron isn't, and he's still keeping up with them statistically yet. And I don't think that's something people are looking at either. That's a big value in your defense, creating turnovers and extra offensive possessions.
Oh, I agree. It's been too long since we've had that. Our field position has been terrible for years. Where he's had to start, what he's had to do, it's downright unfair. And yet he's still putting up Pro Bowl numbers, like you said. So, I think if this defense plays the way that most people are thinking it should, Pettin 2 years in, he's got everything he's wanted. I think he's gotten rid of the pieces he didn't need. I think he brought in the pieces he wanted. I think they added some electric players in the draft the last 2 years. It's there. I mean, he's got everything he needs. There's no reason that they shouldn't be a dynamic defense. And that just completely changes the entire game for Aaron Rodgers. It's not coming back from 3 touchdowns. It's being up by 2 touchdowns and being able to utilize your backs in short yardage plays and not having to do, or look for these miraculous in the dirt backyard kind of plays. You just play football. And I think when that's all said and done, that's when he's at his best.
Well, actually, to compliment Aaron Rodgers, for the draft pick that Jay and I have been backing since he's been drafted, and Jamal Williams has been hurt for, I think, 3 or 4 days now out of camp, and he's been sitting on the sideline, and our guy has been getting reps. The name is Dexter Williams, and a lot of people are noticing how well he looks in this offensive scheme, that one cut, patience, and then burst, and he's gone. And he's got size to go with it. We're excited for this kid, and we think he's going to actually be a bigger part of the offense down the stretch later in the season, because we just feel Jamal Williams is just the odd man out. We think Aaron Jones is going to be more the receiving end, and Dexter's going to be this bull week ride-on to go in the zone running scheme.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I love all 3 of them. I was high on Jamal Williams when we came out. I thought he kind of had a little bit more of a classic back type running ability. And I think he kind of showcased. It's so hard to get a real good read on these backs by the way they were used in the system the last couple of years. They just were so underutilized, and it's hard to see. But obviously, when you look at the little touches that Aaron Jones had, guy is electric. He's explosive.
Lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
In a second. Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of like the complementary of Jamal Williams and him. I think that there was something exciting there. That being said, I'm in the same boat with you guys. When Dexter got drafted, I'm a big Notre Dame guy. I was
so you know.
Yeah, and I was pumped. I mean, I was like, this is going to be a great fit. And I don't know, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's going to beat one or the other out or what it's going to be like. But I think the beauty of it is that we have 3 great backs that I think at any point, depending on where you are yardage-wise, where you are in carries-wise, and what the system prevails as, you have somebody good to go in. You can have your lightning in the bottle. You can have your Jamal Williams. You can have your big, your bruiser, your one-cut guy in Dexter Williams. I mean, it's just a plethora of talent there, and that's something we haven't had in a while. And I think it's something we're excited about. I don't know who beats out who and who wins, and we'll have to see how that goes as the season starts. But I mean, there obviously have been injury issues in a lot of our backs in the last couple of years. So I think having a good depth like that is crucial. And I think it just goes to show ultimately where this offense is kind of leaning towards. We've always just been kind of a one-back situation and rely on Aaron, and now we have three, I think, pretty dynamic running backs, and probably
also Corey Grant and Darren Hall and Danny Vitale. Yeah. We have 6 backs on the roster right now.
I know,
and it's
some excitement there.
I don't see any of these guys really going away. I think that Hall is probably going to, unless there's an injury and somebody starts off, on a PUP list or on IR with designated return, I think that Hall is probably practice squad. But I'm an adamant guy that Williams' pass blocking in third down situations and his underrated receiving value on the just out of the backfield. Not like Aaron Jones, where Aaron Jones I can see can be on the field with either one of the Williams, Jamal or Dexter as lined up in the back. And even a gadget where you've got Williams in the backfield, Jones in the slot or in a stack somewhere. There's so many
nasty. I like that.
With the type of backs they have. Now you throw in Corey Grant, who if you look at before, because last year he was injured, you look at the AFC Championship game and the way that Nathaniel Hackett,
showed
our offensive
out
coordinator, did in that first half. He was a reception. He had a huge game. He was the best back potentially in that game 2 years ago. And you again hurt last year, but I believe this roster is going to be built different. That's where Dave and I split, and I'm starting to get proved because we had this argument last Thursday, and then over the weekend they picked up 2 backs. So I don't think any of these guys, like you said, I think they're all a little different, and the Shanahan offense likes guys that are different so they can use a lot of different combinations of personnel, not necessarily just a single back all the time. You're going to see 2, 3 backs sometimes on the field, I believe, in this style of offense. So I think their value is all equal in this type of offense.
I think you'll see Aaron Jones motion out into the slot back and forth a lot. And I think it's strictly you look at the Shanahan system and all those guys that have come from it, heavy motion, heavy misdirection. You put 3 backs behind Aaron and start motioning them all over the place. It's terrible for defense.
Well, actually, Fred, what is your take? How many wide receivers do you think we keep? How many tight ends do you think we keep? How many running backs? Jay and I got to hear it. We got to hear these on what we keep.
Yeah. We're having an argument to the death over this.
On what position are you arguing the most?
Wide receivers, probably.
Backs. I say there's no way they keep more than 5 receivers, and I said
blasphemy.
I said there's more potential of them keeping 6 total running backs with Danny Vitale counting as a running back than there is of this offensive scheme keeping 6 wide receivers, because I believe they'll keep extra tight ends, extra running backs, and there's definitely going to be 9 to 10 offensive linemen on this 53. That's just the way this roster and offense runs. That's how other teams that have this offensive scheme have built their roster. Dave and everybody else is calling me crazy, so that's where we're at.
6 wide receivers, 4 tight ends, 4 running backs, and Danny Vitale added on. But that's as far a stretch as I'll go, Fred. I can't think of keeping 5 receivers when we have too deep of a roster for wide receivers to go off of. I mean, you're looking at Adams, you're looking at Allison, you're looking at MBS, ESB, Kumaro. I mean, Trevor Davis is having the camp of his life. And there's 6 guys right there that are just immediate impact. I think Jamon Moore, to me, is the odd man out, because you get Kumaro, who's getting mentioned by head coach, who's getting mentioned by your quarterback. Trevor Davis is the same thing, getting mentioned by both guys. I think 6 wide receivers. What do you think?
I'm going to break hearts here. I'm probably going to have to go with you on that one. I think I'm going to go 6 wide. Man, it's tough. It's such a tough decision. But you're right. I can't go 5 because that means if you're going 5, you got Devontae, Geronimo, ESB, MBS, and then you're either going to leave Trevor Davis, Kumaro, Jamon Moore on the outs. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, there's no way.
I gotta go. I gotta go 6.
That Mike Daniels wasn't going to get cut either. So.
Hey, I agree with you on Jay. I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. I don't know, and I think you keep your 4. You got 4 tight ends. You got Jimmy, Mercedes, Jason, and Big Bob.
Big Bob. I love it.
And then you go. What 4 running backs?
I said 4 or 5. I was on the 4 fence, but now seeing Corey Grant, it makes me think: are we keeping 5? Because Corey Grant is a kick returner from the godsend with his blazing speed.
Yeah. So you go Corey, Dexter, Jamal, Aaron, and
Danny. Yeah.
Or Danny.
No, Danny Vitale. Yeah.
I forgot about Big Calf.
Yeah, I see potentially Geronimo Allison getting injured or getting beat out or them. I just
Geronimo, really? You've been taking all the slot reps at 1.
I know, but he has not stayed healthy, and he is only on a 1-year tender, and he's undrafted. Okay, so Jamon Moore, if they're even close, Jamon Moore is going to get the nod over him because he was a 4th-round draft pick. So if he can show up
over Geronimo,
yes, he's bigger, faster. He's bigger, faster, and stronger, and he was a draftee of this guy with a higher RAS score than Geronimo Allison is, who is a guy that Ted Thompson brought in. They like him, but if they liked him so much, then why didn't they give him more than what they gave him as an unrestricted free agent tender? Because he's injured and they like his potential, but they also are looking to potentially replace him if it's even close. I know people love him. He's good, and Kumero's the same things because Davis has got draft capital. High RAS score fits our bill with what Goonie does. The undrafted free agents are the guys that are out, and it still leaves you with the 5 receivers that they drafted. So that's my argument for that.
Blasphemy, Brad. This is what I've been dealing with.
It's. I mean, you got points. You got some points. I can't deny it. Me personally, never been a huge Geronimo fan. Obviously, there's been some plays, and I've just never bought into it, and I was never on that bandwagon with everybody else. As for Trevor Davis, I fighting for that guy. I think that this could be a rejuvenating year for him in a new offense, and an offense that would definitely cater to his abilities way more than our previous offense. And then again, for Jamon Moore, I mean, I watched a lot of him in college. Very talented, very Jordy Nelson-esque in his route running and his ability. It's been hard. It's been hard to kind of watch him fade into the black over the last couple of years. But in the same breath, I and everybody around me wrote off Devontae Adams after a few years. So I'm going to give him that last shot and hope that he comes through. But yeah, I mean, I'd love for Jamon to find his thing and do his thing, and Trevor Davis. And if that's the case, then you're right. That's draft capital.
I just think that I know he was drafted last year, but god dang, I watched the tape on him, Fred, and Jamon Moore put up 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard receivings. There was like 18 or 19 touchdowns. In the SEC, mind you, where he isn't like unheard of because of the fact of SEC defenses are tough as nails. And it just kills me seeing the tape, and it's like a shell of himself out here in camp 2 years in a row. He's had a couple nice catches this year, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't see him beating out guys like Geronimo or Kumaro, who is, like I said, personally mentioned by your head coach and your QB. Same thing with Davis. And Trevor Davis finally found himself, courtesy of Dusty Eagley. I used to be against Davis, but he got me on the train. The gadget plays in the LaFleur offense and the misdirection stuff, Davis's speed is perfect for it. and his little agility moves. Like and that's why I don't